My name is Chris Marino. I'm the General Manager of Spokane BMW. I'm with Lithia, and my experience in the automotive industry goes back to 1991. I met baby Jesus at that time. He was extremely nice, and he brought me along in the business. But jokes notwithstanding, I've been in the business for a very long time, and I've seen so many changes. And for me, this has been a very interesting experience to come to a DC20 event and kind of watch how the technology is moving ahead. DriveCentric was pre-existing when I came in, and it was not a CRM that I'd used. And I'm not ashamed to say that I've used pretty much every CRM on the planet. But what I've found is that DriveCentric, the good thing about it, or many good aspects about it, seems to integrate with almost everything we use. And the functionality of it seems to be evolving at the rate that we like it to, which is to say, we aren't being spammed with functionality, we're being consulted with the functionality and being taught how to use it at a rate that makes sense for us to incorporate it. Because it's been my experience that plenty of CRMs have functionality, it's there, you don't know how it works, you never utilize it, and you just end up using the CRM like everybody else does, to enter a customer name, a phone number, and save the file and move on. There's so much functionality that's built into DriveCentric, and the platform itself makes it so easy to use that the salespeople, even the ones who are resistant to technology, have really been able to embrace it. We don't find that there's this CRM fear that so many people have in the industry where they don't know what to do, as soon as the customer engagement's over, or how to populate fields. For us, the experience has been really, really seamless. Well, the good part about DriveCentric and its immediacy of functionality, I like to call it, is the fact that you have an app. I mean, so many of the people we hire are younger, and they're so engaged in their phones to begin with. So when you have the app and it's there, and they're finishing their engagement with the customer, it's super easy for the youth nowadays, and even if you're not necessarily young, to go right to your phone, which is where even my kids always go. And in the case of a salesperson, they go right into the app right after their engagement, and they're able to gather the data while it's still fresh, and makes it really, really convenient for having the app functionality remote away from a desktop so that the salesperson can get their business done. As a general manager, the way I use the CRM is, I hope, a little bit more forward thinking, because I think a lot of people in my position just look at it as a resource, where I've used it as a tactical weapon. And the way I've used it as a tactical weapon is by ensuring that it's clean. And so many of our CRMs nowadays, we just look at repository for information without understanding how accurate the information we have stored is. And most GMs don't even realize that data in your CRM rots at a rate of 3% per month. So forget about a customer you entered 6, 7, 8 months ago. Their information has probably changed. So for me, CRM hygiene is what makes the difference in how I use DriveCentric. I went through the evolution of updating our entire CRM, and DriveCentric provided the buy functionality of allowing the company that I chose, which is a company named T2 in Texas. They were allowed to bi-directionally update DriveCentric in a way that refreshed all of our data, opened up our garage expansion, and gave me access to information that I never thought I could get before, and up to the minute information. Because like I said, so many customers, their phone numbers and emails last year may not be what they're using now. Forget about a customer 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago in their CRM. You don't know what they drive, their email address has changed, their address has changed. So the CRM is only as good as how accurate the information is. And having my information updated in DriveCentric, offering the possibility of having the data updated by a third-party company, has been a game changer for me. And as a GM, it's allowed me to position the campaigns that we do, the very directed email blasts and campaigns that we do, and the success rate we've had consequently has been a lot better than it would have been otherwise. The AIM tool has worked for us in ways that I had hoped it would, which is to say that there's always been a traditional work plan in the CRM. But the problem is my employees disregard the work plan after day 4. Understandably, they do that because a lead becomes cool, pretty quickly after, your engagement, and the propensity for that person to buy immediately also dwindles. It doesn't mean it goes away. And the beauty of having AIM as a tool, it comes in and sweeps up after the work plan. It's able to circle back in a way that becomes a force multiplier for us, because as much as you try to reinforce the work plan, and as much as the work plan might poke the salesperson, they're consumed. They've got things going on that are immediate, that are right now, and follow-up isn't always, as much as it's important, isn't always regarded with the attention it should be. So having AIM, and I was first introduced to the tool, I guess, right before NADA, my first thought was, okay, AI, buzzword, everybody has something like it. Okay, show me what you got. And I was able to see a demonstration of AIM and how it worked, and it's a total game changer. It's made the interactions in my CRM extremely efficient, and it's what I'd call resurrected zombie or dead deals, and it's brought them back to the front place, because the customer might be interested right now, submit a lead, your response time is there, they're kind of engaged, but then for whatever reason, it's not because they don't want to buy a car, life distracts them. And then the tendency for most people is to move on, but then that customer can still be engaged by AIM a week later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, and then suddenly you find that person's back in the marketplace. It wasn't because they found a car already, it's just because life interacted upon the decision, but AIM has brought that customer back to the fold and allowed for more re-engagement and subsequent sales. The way AIM has compared to traditional follow-ups in that it does it, whereas opposed to before we weren't really doing a very good job of it. Again, salespeople, as they're wanting to do, have that immediate gratification. And in the downtime, when they're supposed to be doing follow-up, it just never works. Like the game plan's never there, no matter how you tailor the work plan. Well, AIM doesn't have distractions. AIM doesn't have the immediacy of getting a commission today. AIM doesn't have the latest, we have to make a video this, we have to do that, we have to do the follow-up for this. So AIM is allowed to go back in there and engage the work plan in a way that we just weren't able to do, couldn't do it through management processes. And like I said, it's been a game changer in that it's actually given us incremental sales, whereas previously we probably would not have had them, because the work plan by itself, if it's not managed in the way that AIM manages it, hasn't been effective. The biggest takeaway of having AIM built into the CRM is it allows for efficiency. And I've seen the learning model evolve too since I first started watching it. The engagements previously and other AI engagements have always been or had a tendency to be clunky. Now I'm going to evolve to just a couple of days ago when a customer after hours thought that the AI attendant was real and is asking her out on a date. My point is, it's evolved so much to the point where the experience, you can't tell it from a non-AI experience. It's the machine learning and the way that the construct has been set up has caused our customers to truly believe that they're talking to somebody after hours. Whereas before, you would know if it was an offshore attendant or if it was somebody in a call center answering you generically. Now, the AI attendant built into AIM, her name is Anna, has this amazing presence, whereas we'll get it the next day and Michael will go to answer lead, and that person says, no, I only want to work with Anna. So it's kind of interesting to watch how AI after hours has evolved, and the attendant handoff to the real salesperson has caused our customers to double clutch. And I go, no, I want to work with Anna. Anna's been helping me. Anna's been taking care of me. Or in the case the other night, we have our customers asking Anna out and asking her to send pictures. It's the funniest thing. We've been on the platform long enough to notice the metrics, and we have to be able to measure that against background, but we can actually see that our communication is streamlined. Deals that we would not have had previously have been brought to the forefront, allowing us the opportunity to close them. So it definitely has evolved to a point where we're definitely selling more vehicles as a result. you have a mix of people in the car business. You have older people who don't adopt technology and they're cantankerous, and then you have the 20-somethings who could look at a complicated GUI and go, oh, I could figure it all out. But the reality is, it'd be nice to have an interface that accomplished both with the different demographics that you have in sales. I'm 53. I saw DriveCentric for the first time at my store when I got it. Nobody had to say to me, here's where you go to do this, here's where this is, here's where this report is. Whereas in the past, as an operator, somebody would say, okay, your reporting is here, your mining is here, your email blasts are here, checking your appointments. Like, some of the shit is like low-hanging fruit. Like, I can go into a CRM and not figure out what the appointments are for the day. Whereas with DriveCentric, it's usually at the top. I mean, there's a bubble, or it'll show you, but even if it didn't have a notification at the top, it's right along the top. You mouse over, it's one of the first things you see. As an operator, how many service appointments? How many sales appointments? And I found that the GUI with DriveCentric is, like, I'm a super evangelizer. And I have no reason to be as a GM, because most GMs get a little bit more distant from the everyday use of it. But I've got it on my phone, I could jump in, I could find out everything I need, and for me, if I, God willing, if I ever leave where I'm at now, I know how people are resistant to changing CRMs, but if I go through a door and I have, that ability to make that change in a store, we're just going to change to DriveCentric.